Hey everyone, my name's Jerica and I am one of the leasing agents for J&K Property Management, and I thought it would be really fun to take you on a little adventure, give you a little exposure to what life is like in the day of a property manager. So I might do this in a several episode series, if you will. But today I am out and about in Great Falls, and I am just about to enter a property for the purpose of doing what we call a PCR, which is a property condition report. Now, we do these every time we have somebody move in, before they move in. So I'll go in, I'll look for damages, I'll look for any safety issues, I'll look to make sure that any repairs or maintenance that needed to be taken care of after the last resident moved out, that's all complete and it's rent ready and it's ready to move in. So if there's any issues, then I can make sure we get that taken care of and handled before a new resident moves. Okay, so I'm here in the property, in the unit. This is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath unit, and it's really lovely. I do like this unit. So I'm going to just take you around and we're going to look at a couple things. That the first thing that I do when I come in, just to make sure everything is good, is kind of check the smell. Make sure that it smells nice and fresh and you can't detect, the presence of past residents. Sometimes we get people with illegal pets. This building is a no pet building, and people bring in pets and they sneak them in, and of course then they do damage and you can smell it sometimes. So I'm always checking to make sure it just smells fresh and clean and ready to move in. So the next thing I do is turn on all the lights and make sure all the lights are operational, that there's no burnt out light bulbs, and I'll go do turn the lights on in every room and check that. The other reason I do that is because it's easier to see cleaning or any cosmetic flaws or damages when it's. So after turning lights on and checking light bulbs, then I go to all the windows and I'm going to check that each window and blind is functional. Whether they open, they'll stay open, and that they'll close, and that the twist thing is here, that they open and close. And then I'll open each one of the windows to make sure that the window cranks, if it's a crank, or clips. In this case, it's a clip. They open, close, no problem. So next, then we do our safety checks. So we want to make sure everyone is safe and that we have all of our protocols in order. Biggest of all would be our smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. We got to make sure that they're working and that there's a proper amount installed in the unit, according to Montana tenant landlord laws. So save that one 5 times fast. So I have my handy dandy stick that I picked up at Ace Hardware, and I just go around and I check them, and they should beep. Oops, I'm not pressing the right button. There we go. So I go ahead and I open everything up and pull out the furnace filter just to make sure that it is nice and clean, free of debris. And we do require our residents to change their furnace filters every 90 days. So that's what's recommended for extending the life of the furnace and keeping it safe and improving the air quality in the unit. After safety check, then I'm going to do a cleanliness check and check the major areas that most people miss when cleaning, even professional cleaners. So we do contract out, and everybody's human. So it's always nice to do those extra checks before we have anyone move in. So I really go into each of the cabinets in the kitchen and in the bathroom, and I'm checking for, if this is dusty or crumbs or anything like that. So I'll flip you around here and show you the common places that people miss, and where I come in and make sure that everything is good before a new tenant moves in. So here, let's turn you around. So with the oven, I'm looking at the burners. You can take these off. You can actually take these tops off and wash them with dish soap and put them back. because they usually have grease on them from cooking. And we check in the ovens. I'm looking for any grease along here, which is often missed. Making sure that the inside is nice and clean, the oven light works, and the drawers underneath, right? Anything along here, we document down here. That is the serial and model numbers. So if there is, you know, something that happens to the unit where, you know, a burner goes out or something happens where it needs a repair, we have that ready for the repairman. And that just makes that repair that. Okay, the refrigerators have a lot of space on them that can be hidden or hard to get to. So obviously we're gonna look up here, do a check, make sure there's no crumbs, no dust up there. That does tend to get really dusty. And we're looking inside here and in along the shelving and inside. Now here's where almost everyone misses, is right along here. And so we pull this back and sure enough, winner, we found an issue. So this is a cleaning issue where I would document this, and we'll get a cleaner out here to make sure that these crumbs are removed. So we go through and just check that the drawers aren't cracked. So other things I look for are any plumbing issues. So I come into the bathroom, the kitchen, anywhere where there's water that's going to be flowing, and I check that there's no leaks and that the water is flowing nicely. So here I'm going to go and I'm going to turn all of this on, and I'm also going to look under the sink, usually with this on though, make sure nothing underneath is leaking. And I'll do the same for the kitchen sink. I'll run the water in the bathtub and make sure it comes out from there nicely and that it's just running. So I've done a cleaning check, a smell check, a safety check, water check, and lastly, I'm gonna do a check for damages. So with rentals, you know, we try to keep them as nice as possible and keep things up to date and operational for sure, safe for sure. So cosmetically speaking, when you have a lot of people moving in and out, every time you move, there's always something gets dinged or broken or ripped, torn. That's just kind of the nature of the rental business. But we want to make sure that everything is documented, the condition is documented, which of course, as you know, is why I'm here today. So if it's something that can be fixed easily, we usually get that fixed. There's some things that, you know, they're not the prettiest cosmetic flaw, but they're not something that, you know, would warrant having an independent contractor come and fix, you know, charging $60 for the first hour and it's a 2-minute fix. So we might wait until there's enough repairs to do to have that vendor come and do them all at once to try and, you know, weigh those costs for the property owner, because we don't want to overcharge them, because that then makes the rent go up for the residents. So it's kind of a trickle down effect. So we got to be very careful about, you know, keeping that balance. So as we keep record of all of the possible cosmetic damages, some properties are brand new, they have much less wear and tear. Some are quite a bit older and you just kind of expect to see a little bit more cosmetic wear and tear. But in general, we document everything. So we certainly don't want to pass any responsibility, financial responsibility on those repairs to a new tenant coming in that, you know, it's not their fault that it's there. So that's really important to us to make sure that we're being very fair and charging the appropriate person. Is it just normal wear and tear and the owner needs to cover it? Is it a damage from negligence from a previous tenant that we need to charge them for? But in no case should a new tenant moving in ever be charged for something that's already existing. So this is a really good example of a cosmetic flaw. At some point in the history of this rental unit, you know, I imagine somebody was moving some furniture in and out, and they kind of took out a chunk of the door trim. So is it a safety issue? No. Is it a health issue? No. Is it just look ugly? Yeah. But in terms of the bigger picture, to repair that right now with so few other cosmetic flaws, we'll probably wait a little bit to do that and then get everything done all at one time. So we would document this, and the resident moving in knows that it's here. We'll have it on their inspection, and everybody will, know the status of the unit, and the new resident moving in would certainly not be charged for the repair of this. Okay, so that's what I do, my initial walkthrough, looking at everything, just kind of making mental notes of everything, but then it's time to put it into writing. So we have this wonderful program that we use. It's called Z Inspector, and it's a verbal written account of what's in the property, as well as photo and video. So I will go around now to every single room and take a picture of every single corner, every single baseboard, the doors, top, bottom, inside, out, the doorknobs, inside the fridge, outside the fridge, the floors, the ceiling, light switches, light fixtures, vents, anything that's in this property, I will be taking a picture of close up and from far away, so that we can see exactly what the condition is before somebody moves in, so that they're protected and we're protected and the owner's protected, that this is what the condition is at this time on this day today. So we're very tedious about it, and by the end of this I should have somewhere between 800 and 1,000 photos, color photos, that get attached to the unit profile that we have on our online software, as well as a copy given to that new resident moving in. So, and then they get a chance to come in with the first 3 days that they move in to do the very same walkthrough that we've done with the documented report that we have, and they can add to it. So if we miss something, because we're human, they're welcome to add to that, so that stays on file. So we're really, like I said, we're very tedious, very careful, very cautious, wanting to make sure everybody's on the same page at the time of move-in. So that is a PCR, a property condition report, and what we do for every property, every time, before anyone ever moves in. So if you have questions, put them below. Happy to answer those. If you would like to see a copy of a property move-in report, heck, we'll share it with you. I'd be glad to share that so you can see what it is that we use when we determine, at move out, if there's damages or cleaning needed, what was there and what wasn't. So, all right, I hope you learned something new. Property management is a super fun career. Doesn't sound glamorous, but it's really fun, and you meet some really wonderful people. So, all right, bye.